Model. After having a look at Identity and Administrators part, we are going to see the model part in this block. We know already that the model is the complete configuration of the class of processes. In this section, we will see the main configuration options. First of all, diagram. They allowed us to create and modify the diagram of the class of processes. Then we have version control, allows us to go back to all diagram versions. If the configuration has been deleted, it can be recovered going into Restore Selected. Simulation. We can perform a statistical simulation before proceeding with the configuration and execution. Objects. We can configure the diagram objects. Not all of them require configuration. Base documents. This option allows us to automatically create Word, Excel, HTML, and PDF documents with dynamic contents from the panel of each process. It is a document we can design, adding images, logos, etc., any kind of object that we want. This will be combined with the data from the process. For example, if I am in a billing process, the base document could be the actual invoice. Here in this document, we can customize our own document with the company's logo, invoice data, and also introduce all the data generated in the process. In the panel, we can define the structure of the data of the class of processes. Here, we can see all the terms that are being used in this class of processes and common logs. It allows us to create common logs for the processes. All the data added from different objects will be collected here if we have configured it like that. Let's see the concept of panel. That is really interesting. We can create a class of processes. A panel is created with the system fields. Apart from these terms created by the system, we can add here all the terms we need for our class of processes and the forms used in them. We will generally create these terms from the dictionary of terms. And after creating them, bring them to the panel of the class of processes. We can add as many terms as we like or need to the panel. The panel creation and definition establishes the structure of the data for the processes of this class. Once the model is configured, we can start the process. Every time we start a process, we start a process of that class. Each of these processes will contain all the data added and generated in the process. We can see that we have the class panel that contains the term and the process panel that contains the data. That is to say, it contains the term with the corresponding data. When I create a class of processes, a class panel is created that will contain all the terms used in the process. Once we start the process, a class of processes panel will be created, where all the terms and data will be stored. Each process that I start of that class of processes will have the corresponding data. To use terms in a class of processes, 3 steps must be followed. Create the terms in the dictionary of terms. Bring them to the panel of processes. And then we use them where they are needed. It can be in a star message form, task form, in a gateway to evaluate the outlets, etc. The appointed performers of the processes can use some panel terms in the forms. All the terms can be used to set up duration controls, calculations, etc. For example, in that start message event here, we have used these fields that we have added to the task 2 plus 2 more. And those 2 have been used in the gateway too. Terms in the panel are unique, although we can show them in a form and a task at the same time. It is important to understand that they are the same term. So if, for example, I add a value in a field of the start message event form, when I see this term in the task form, I will see the value that I introduced before. Okay? So if I add a value here, okay, then I will see it here in the next stage of the process. If the appointed performer has the right or the permissions and the field is editable, then he will be able to change the value. And from then on, this will be the value shown for this term along the process, unless someone changes again later on. In each process, a unique term will have a unique value. Let's see now how the comment log works. A comment log is used in the events and tasks. It can register all the objects in which an appointed performer intervenes, date and time in which the person adds any comments and intervenes, etc. Okay, so here we can see that Sarah, okay, has written a message here, and then we can see David's reply, etc., etc. As the process progresses, we can add some more comments. Let's go to execution now. The structure, processes, demo events. Okay, and here we have imported the diagram before. Now imagine I want to change the name. So for that, I'll go to the diagram, double click, and change it to demo events. Save, accept. Okay, as we can see, it's been already changed. So if I go to version control now, I can see I have two, okay? The previous one and the current version in use, that is the one that I just created, okay? So let's have a look at the panel now. As I mentioned before, we have some system terms, okay, that have been automatically added to the panel when we created the class of processes. Base reference, extended reference, star message creator, etc. If I want to bring some terms to this panel, I can do it by clicking in add fields. So let's add two so you can see it. Let's add a multiple line text one, description, accept selection, okay, and an email. Okay. Okay, now in the class of processes panel, apart from the system terms, we have the two I just brought. As we have just seen, we can create terms and select ones previously created, but we cannot modify them. If I wanted to modify an existing term and didn't want to leave the class of processes, I will go to the panel, select the term, and from here I could see the location, in this case none, okay, because it's not being used. And if I click in dictionary configuration, I could change here some of the options, okay? It is possible to remove the terms too, as long as they are not system terms, okay? We cannot delete the system ones, and that the term is not in use, okay? So if the term is being used, we cannot delete it. To delete it, we just have to click here and delete. Okay, I'm gonna bring it back. Okay, and it's here again. Remember, if we wanna delete a term, it cannot be used anywhere. Okay, otherwise we won't be able to delete it. And again, the system ones cannot be deleted. Let's have a look at another option now, garbage cleaner. Again, the system will just show me the terms that are not being used. As it says here, deletes unused panel fields except group of fields, footer, and relation fields. Then we have the option print. This option allows me to print a list of the terms that I'm using in the panel, or also to export to Excel, okay? See conditions. This option will show me all the conditions used in the class of processes. Right now we don't have anything like that in our process, so that's why it's empty. And with this, we have seen all the different panel options. Let's see now how to create a comment log. It is very simple. So we go to create comment log, just name it. I'm gonna name it general. Okay, and save. Okay, I can create as many comment logs as I want. Okay, so for example, I can have a process where there are a lot of tasks, employees and clients involved, and I only want the employees to see what the rest of the employees are commenting. Okay, and that the clients only see the comments of the other clients, etc. Then I could create two different ones, one for the employees, okay, and another comment log for the clients. And with this, we have seen all the options in the model section.